Alright guys, so we got this PMC LS to ZF adapter. I know there's not a lot of videos out there, and that's kind of why half of it's on and half of it's not. I was with a little 5-puck.
What did he say?
Just because we're trying to figure out, a lot of the stuff isn't marked and there's not a lot of instructions as far as it goes, and as you can tell, they just give you a random bag, random bag of bolts to go through everything. So kind of through our trial and error, what we've seen. So obviously we're gonna put they have 2 plates to it, so they're pretty clearly marked. So you have LS, and then you have one marked ZF or BMW. So I mean, this side of things is pretty straightforward. So when you get this plate, you want the LS side to face out, and then you're gonna put it on. They got some dowels here that line everything up. And then from what we've found, let me take one of these out. Or here, I got an extra one. So from what we've found, these bolts, these little button caps, seem to be the ones that match the best. And so what you're gonna do is, you'll notice in the kit, it has two long ones of these, and then the rest are this size. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the long ones, that way they go all the way through the block. So we got one here and then one on the opposite side that go all the way through. And you want to be careful, because if you put these super long ones through any of the bolts that go into the block, it's gonna crack the block. So you want to make sure that you're putting these little short guys in there, and then we're gonna put the 2 long ones in here. And so what we're kind of doing on this side of things is, I'm just following factory torque spec on these, so 37 pound-foot for the bell housing. So we're just going to thread all these in, and then we're just going to go through them, torque them down. That guy. That guy. Boom. And we got the top one. Alright, so we got those torqued down. And so you're gonna have a couple, because these plates are made for multiple applications. So these ones aren't gonna have anything, because obviously we have a front sump for the E30. And then this guy, we'll probably put a clip in here, but we got the recommended starter for it, and the teeth actually didn't line up with it. So we're gonna have to try a different starter for that. But from what I've seen, a lot of the other kits are different. Like the other videos I've seen, they come with different bolts and stuff like that. So I guess for their newer kit, I would say you want to count out just 2 long ones, and then you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short ones that are gonna go into here. And then if you look at these guys, we kind of had to just lay these out and play with them for a while. So the way we kind of approached it is, we tried to figure out where everything lined up, and then we counted how many holes there are versus how many bolts there are. So from what we've come through, We use the button caps for those guys, and then we're going to use these for the centerpiece. And if you notice, we kind of already did a little work on these. In the packaging, it has these little button caps as well. And if you notice, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And so 6 are all the same length, so they're going to match up to this guy. And then from there, what we're going to do is, I noticed in the old kit that they included this as a separate piece that you'd have to hammer into the back of the crank. But it looks like on the new ones they already have everything installed. So what we're going to do is line up this backside on the crank and then just bolt it up using these bolts. Oh, and here, show this. This is the part number that they typically recommend for this part. It's just an automatic flex plate. So if you have a 5.3 or something, you probably already have it anyways. But in our case, I'm stupid and I threw it away. So it was an extra little bit of money we had to spend on it. So then we're gonna just put this guy on here and then make sure that back is lined up. See if we can get it. Oh, it's gonna be tough. This guy on there. Let's try it again. We're not. Jesus. Sweet. Just gonna try to get a couple bolts in. That way it's held on. Sweet. And then we're just gonna take a rubber mallet and kind of get it lined up on there. Pretty flush. Sweet, so we'll get it pretty flush on there. This plate's gonna rattle a little bit, but once we get all these guys torqued down, it'll kind of pull everything together. So for these guys, they're 12 points. We're gonna use a half 12 point. We're just gonna follow factory spec again. So we're gonna do 15 foot-pounds on a first pass. Just kind of work it in a crisscross pattern.
You already did that one. This one.
Alright, then we're going to do a second pass for 45 degrees. We're going to try to put a wedge in here. 45. 45. 45. 45. I think we already did this one. 45. And 45.
Okay.
Alright, so we got these guys torqued down. We took all these guys short little buttons off. The one thing this kit doesn't come with that everyone complains about is a clutch alignment tool. So what we did is we went ahead and we had to get a new throwout bearing for the transmission, which happened to come with a clutch alignment tool. And luckily this guy worked perfect for putting this clutch in. So with the kit, comes with a little 5 puck.
What did he say?
And clutch alignment tool fits perfectly in it. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this guy, boom, right there. And then we got the pressure plate that comes with it as well. Gonna pull this guy off. So we got the pressure plate, and then we are, oh, forgot a bolt. Alright. And then we are just going to line these up. And throw a couple bolts in. And that's the wrong size. Sweet. And then we got the 6mm hex. We're just gonna kind of get them going in. Same kind of thing, just working in a star pattern. Oh, we're just gonna follow manufacturer spec. So 30 foot-pounds and kind of a crisscross pattern. Alright, so I just wanted to jump ahead. This is probably one of the most overlooked parts, this little pivot, because I know there's been a couple other YouTubers that forgot to do this, and there was a lot of contact going in here on the plate, just because this thing is a tiny bit smaller than it. So what I did is I went and punched out this old one, and they give you the new one. The only problem is they don't include a bolt for it. So what I did is I found just a random bolt laying around that I had. So we're just going to replace that before we get too far, just so we don't forget about it. And then we'll get into how this plate goes on. Alright, so now got that new one bolted up, ready to roll. We're going to throw this guy back in here. Boom. So that's good to go. Throw that new ball bearing in. Boom. So that guy is good to go. We also kind of same concept with this other plate. So BMW side facing out, just like this one, LS facing out. It's kind of one of those things where you kind of have to play with the bolts again. For whatever reason, this kit didn't come with these small holes. I mean small bolts rather, that go in here like I've seen other guys' kits have. So we're kind of working with what we have. So we're gonna match these guys up. They're all pretty, you can kind of tell, like when you put the short ones through here, they won't fit all the way. Like this guy is a long one, this guy's a long one, that's a shorter one. So you kind of just have to play with the lengths and see. But you definitely want to use these guys with the little cone head. That way they're flush, so that when we made it to this, nothing hits each other. So on this guy we ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts all together. And the way you align it is you just have this little dowel right here, and so this guy is going to be the middle dowel. And the way you know, like if you're doing it yourself and you don't know if it's lined up or not, you want to look at this and you can tell that it's straight. This line is straight with the top of the transmission, so the adapter should bolt on straight, so you'll be able to tell pretty easy. So then with that, we're just going to put those lock nuts on them and get it tightened down. Alright, so we got this guy going, kind of the setup. Gonna put this on a load leveler, got this thing on a tire, this thing on the trans jack, and they're pretty close to lining up. So I think with a little extra, we can probably get it lined up and bolt it down. I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
One eternity later.
Alright, it is super dark out, but we finally got it. This thing was a pain in the butt. I know it's kind of hard to tell. Let me see if I can get a flashlight. But my method for it was I put this guy into gear. That way you can kind of spin this guy, because when you spin that you can get the splines to match up in here. So that's kind of what I did, is I would kind of spin this and push it in, and then once it felt like it was kind of in, I'd put a wrench on the crank pulley and turn it. And so if it turns this guy when you're turning the crank, it's gonna work. So that means that they're hooked up. So then what we kind of did is we kind of walked the bolts little by little, and then every once in a while we would give the crank pulley a turn and make sure this guy's still turning. That way you're not just pushing them into each other. So wasn't too bad. Normally don't recommend trying to walk the trans in with these bolts, but for this one it was kind of hard to just get it over that little lip. So yeah, that's kind of our strategy with it. Just take your time. If you have to put it in gear and spin this to make sure it lines up, it's pretty easy, because you can put one hand back here and then push as you go. Also helps to have two people, for sure. So we're gonna try to get this guy in tonight. We'll see how far we get. Yeah. See if we can get it in.